Hello and welcome to Tune In, the official podcast of the British Association of Barbershop Singers. This episode is a bit different to our usual Babs team catch-ups. It's the first of what I hope will be many interview episodes in which we bring on a member of the community and learn about their life as a barbershopper. We've got a few of these lined up already, so make sure that you get subscribed to Tune In wherever you get your podcasts. You can also listen on the Babs website and on the official Babs YouTube channel. My guest today is Tim Briggs, who's been a fixture of British barbershop for the best part of 20 years. And in that time, he's managed to accumulate a Quartet CV that most of us can only dream of. He's currently singing with the Emerald Guard, who won the Babs Quartet Championship back in 2013, and who are now preparing for a triumphant return to BHS International later this year. It's going to be their first time back on the international stage since 2015. He also sings with the Sharrow Vale Blues, who are UK mixed quartet champions, and in 2025 they became BHS International semi-finalists. And that was a first for any British mixed quartet. Previously, he sung with the Shimmering Bonsai Boys, who won the Babs Bronze in 2022, and with Hannah and the Hurricanes, who are several-time UK mixed quartet champions and world mixed silver medalists. On the chorus front, he sung with Big County Chorus and Spirit of Harmony, and he served on the leadership team at Hallmark of Harmony in Sheffield for a decade, and was their musical director from 2015 to 2021. Along the way, he won bronze, silver, and gold medals with Hallmark. During his time there, he was closely involved in the creation of Project Horizon, a complete reimagining of how the chorus approached convention that helped propel them from a 10th place to a bronze medal in a single year, and sparked an almost unbroken run of success that continues to this day. And perhaps just as importantly, Project Horizon opened the door to barbershop for a whole new generation of singers, many of whom have since gone on to become some of the most inspiring and influential voices in our community. He's also a sought-after coach for quartets and choruses across the country. And I should mention that this one is kind of personal for me. I've known Tim since he first joined Hallmark back in 2010 or 2011, and we've been good friends ever since. So I was there for more than a few of the stories that we're about to get into. It's probably also worth mentioning Tim is married to the wonderful Hannah Briggs, and yes, they do sing together. So I absolutely loved this conversation with Tim. I'm sure you will as well. Thank you for listening to Tune In. Let's get started. Tim Briggs, welcome to the show.
Hello, I'm honoured to be here.
Yeah, we're honoured to have you. Thank you for coming. Did you know that you're our first interview guest on the Tune In podcast?
Well, I've seen a few of the podcasts, but I feel like it's always you and Alistair.
Yeah, it's mostly me and Alistair.
I didn't know that I was the first person after Alistair.
Everyone else who's been on the show before has been a member of the Babs board. Yeah. And I realised that as wonderful as the Babs board are, that could get quite boring quite quickly. And
is this where you out me as a member of the Babs board?
Yeah, you're the new Babs chair.
Oh, God.
Surprise! So yes, thank you. I'm very excited to talk to you. Why don't we start at the very beginning?
Okay.
Why don't you give us a sense of where you, Tim Briggs, came from, where you grew up in the world, and how music came into your life in the first place?
Okay. It's a long story. You want to hear all that?
Yeah, that's why we're here.
I'm 36 years old, you know. There's been a lot. A lot's happened. I'm from Leeds, and that's where I found music and found barbershop, actually. I've always liked music because I didn't really come from like a musical family, but my family always listened to music a lot. And we listened to a lot of rock and roll and a lot of pop music. And I just always liked it. And in high school, I found myself wanting to get into music, but a little bit late. So I was trying to think of what to do, and I ended up learning how to play the drums because I figured that'd be the quickest one to learn.
And how old were you when you started playing the drums? You say you're in high school.
I was in high school,
That is late.
maybe 13, 14, maybe earlier than that. The drumming I forget about because barbershop's taken over.
Yeah.
But the drumming led me into being in a band, and then that led me into doing a bit of singing, like backing vocals and stuff. And then I got more and more involved with the music and the singing stuff in high school. And then after not doing any choir or any proper singing or anything like that, I found myself in something like year 10 or 11, and there was a student music teacher at my school, Lawnswood School, where Simon Lubkowski was a teacher there once.
Whoa.
Yeah. Come back to that maybe later. Little connection there.
Well, we'll just circle back to that in a little bit.
This feels like a boring story. I'll carry on. There was a student music teacher called Mr. Mulliner, and he got all the guys together who were vaguely interested in music and or singing one lunchtime, and he taught us a song from the Barbershop Songs of Yale book, and it was a song called My Everline, and I really enjoyed it. I thought, that's cool. I'm going to go home and look into barbershop music. And this was when YouTube had just come out. At least it feels like it in my memory. It was probably really old, but it felt like a brand new thing. Anyway, I go on YouTube, search for barbershop, and find videos of Four Voices and Vocal Spectrum and Gas House Gang and AIC quartets. And that was it. I was hooked straight away. And I don't know how soon, but it feels in my memory like the next day, though it probably wasn't the next day. We set up a quartet in school called the Twilight Tones, which had a few different members, mainly a few different basses, but the tenor was always Alex Kaiserman. I was always the lead. The baritone was a chap called Peter Quigley, who later sang with Hallmark a few years later. And the three basses we had were Alan Cruikshank, Matthew Barclay, and Antoine Kaiserman. And so
Antoine Kaiserman sang bass.
Antoine sang bass. He can do it all. So I've sung with Antoine for 20 years.
In quartets.
This would have been when I was 16, 17, got into barbershop, found Antoine, and my life was never the same again. And then, so we sang in quartets, and we'd do carol singing, and we'd learn some songs and sing them on the Christmas concerts and stuff, and just had a great time doing it. And so we were doing the quartet thing for a while, some time just by ourselves. I don't know how we found music or anything. We were probably ripping stuff off YouTube. And my girlfriend at the time saw an advert for the Big County Chorus, who at the time and still are the Leeds chorus, Big County. And she showed me and was like, other people do this? And I was like, what?
It's not just you.
It's not just you and your weirdo friends. Well, we knew that other people did it, but we didn't know anyone in Leeds did it. And so I joined the Big County Chorus, and some of the other guys came along for a bit, but I really joined and really got into it. And we were doing music festivals and stuff like that. I learned their 30-song repertoire of all the old tunes, like Meet Me in Rose Time Rosie and stuff like that. And then they introduced me to the wider world of British barbershop and Babs and the youth chorus. So then I joined the youth chorus, and then I meet people like Andy Allen and Zach Bulls and Duncan and Alan Hughes and all the greats. And at this time, I'm 21 and I want to leave Leeds. And Andy Allen says, I've got a room in my flat if you want to move to Sheffield. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm 21 and I moved to Sheffield, and that's it.
You moved to a different city for barbershop.
Pretty much. Lots of people seem to come to Sheffield for barbershop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Who was directing Big County Chorus when you
Hazel
joined?
Jiggins. And
was she really?
Yeah, and she taught me a lot about barbershop, and I quickly got into a quartet there. I filled in for Wayne Jackson with a quartet called Chord Right. He'd set up the quartet at Big County, and then he moved back to the States, and he asked if I would fill in for him because they'd qualified for convention.
Whoa.
So they were in the semifinals. So before I knew it, I was in the semifinals. 2009, Plan Did Know, and Hazel coached us, and we sang Let's Get Away From It All and I'm alone because I love you. And she coached us and told me I was terrible at singing in a nice way.
The best coaches always do.
And she really helped me become a quartet singer.
Wow. That's so funny because Hazel's son-in-law, many years later, when I was at Spirit of Harmony, Hazel's son-in-law came and joined Spirit of Harmony,
right.
Colin, and he was always saying Hazel's been trying to get me to do this for years, and
imagine.
now she's stopped, so I'm gonna do it.
Wow!
Now that she's stopped.
Well, that's happy and sad, I guess.
Yes, that's very funny. So you're 21 years old,
yeah,
and Andy Allen, who how well do you know Andy Allen when he proposes that you live together?
Well, how well do we know? I thought you meant now, like quite well now.
Reasonably well now, I would imagine. We'll get to that.
I knew him pretty well. Andy is obviously a big mover and shaker in my barbershop career, and he used to host people around at his flat like very often to drink beer and sing tags. And we'd go around on a Friday or a Saturday and hang out and just sing loads of barbershop and watch loads of barbershop and just hang out. I met loads of friends that way and got close with Andy. And I wouldn't say we were best friends when he asked me to move in with him. Maybe we were. It all blurs into one with Andy. It's a lifetime of joy and happiness. Are you watching this?
Yeah, you better be listening, Andy.
Yeah, we were pretty close, I guess. But yeah, it was such like a stars aligning moment because he had a flatmate moving out and I wanted to move out, and it was just like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, brilliant.
It was cool.
So you moved to Sheffield. Did you stay with Big County for a little bit? What happened with your chorus life?
It feels like we're jumping through eras. I'm probably missing big chunks out. Through Big County, I met loads of barbershoppers through going to convention with Chord Right and meeting loads of people there. And I was aware that there was another chorus nearby, and that was Spirit of Harmony, because they were rehearsing in Tadcaster, which wasn't very far. And Hazel actually said to me, whether or not she thought I was destined for greater things or she didn't want me in the chorus anymore, she suggested...
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Never know.
She encouraged me to go and join Spirit of Harmony. So I joined Spirit of Harmony, and that's where I've become better friends with people like Duncan Blackerby and Joe White, and Antoine and Alex came along with me, and we did a fair few years with Spirit. So then I'm 20, I'm 21, I'm singing with Spirit. I moved to Sheffield. I joined Hallmark. I did Hallmark and Spirit for a few years, and then that was getting pretty busy, and Hallmark were in our championship year, and Sally was directing Spirit at the time. It's so complex. It's so big and confusing.
So much went on in this time.
And I said to Sally, I'm sorry, I feel like I need to focus on this right now. And she was amazing and said, obviously, I completely support that. So it wasn't right away moving to Sheffield that I left Spirit, but I feel like it was soon after that.
Yeah. But there was like a good chunk of time where you were commuting from Sheffield to Tadcaster to go sing this. How did that work? Because you didn't drive.
Well, I didn't drive because, as you know, I'm bone idle, so I hadn't learned to drive. So Vaughan Dooley used to give me a lift to Sheffield, and often with Joe as well. And yeah, we used to go every week. I used to enjoy those car rides with Vaughan.
Yeah, what a wonderful man, Vaughan.
And then I could just walk to Hallmark.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Yeah, when you can be bothered as a bone idle person.
Yeah. Can somebody pick me up? So
yeah. Okay, so we're at the beginning of your Hallmark era at this time. So we're talking like 2010, 2011.
Yeah,
that sort of time in the barbershop timeline.
Yeah. So towards the end of my time with Spirit, I'm singing in a quartet called Mac 4, and we did a couple of prelims and a convention and had a great time. And we went to international. We went to Portland, Oregon, and we thought we were going to win that contest. I'll be honest. We were seeded fourth.
Which one? The
collegiate contest.
The Portland one. Oh my God. Okay.
The Portland Collegiate Bank of America VHS International
International.
Collegiate Quartet Contest. We're seeded fourth.
Yeah.
And we go out there and we thought we nailed it. And it
Yeah.
turns out we didn't. And
how did you do in the end?
Well, they read out fifth. We're seeded fourth and they read out fifth and it's not us. And we're like, and they read out fourth and we're like, third, no, we've won. Second, we've won it. We came 18th.
Oh my God. That's brutal.
Whoa, it wasn't that bad.
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah. When you think you've got a shot at a medal, but we were young and didn't know what we were doing, really.
Was that it? Do you think it was just like naivety, or like how did it come? Like how was your score compared to the score that you sort of qualified with? Like, did your score drop massively, or did everyone else just get better?
I think it was quite a lot lower. I don't like to speculate on such things, but we might have had a favourable score in the youth contest that we won here in Babs. Maybe, I don't know. Or we just sang really worse in America.
Yeah.
But I felt like we sang better, but that was a long time ago. That was in 2012. Yeah. So 2012, I'm in Portland with Mac 4. And soon after that, having moved to Sheffield, moved in with Andy Allen, we start talking about singing together. And then before you know it, the Emerald Guard is born. And that was 13 years ago. So yeah. 2013, the Guard is born. And we still sing together now. And feels like the rest is history, though there is loads more to it.
There are several other directly relevant stories. God, Emerald Guard 13 years ago. Oh. And the Emerald Guard won your first Babs contest straight out the gate.
We won our first Babs contest. It was the biggest contest there's ever been in Babs, and biggest there's not been one.
Nothing's ever topped it.
No, it's I think the grandest spectacle there's ever been. We won first time out. We won prelims, so we felt good and were like buzzing to go. And we had this crazy idea to do a cowboy set in the finals, which literally came out of nowhere. I think me and Andy listened to a teach track of Desperado by Simon Rylander, and we're like, well, let's sing that. That's amazing. What else could we sing with that? Oh, Zach wrote the Oklahoma tag. Do you think he'd write the whole song? Oh, yeah, probably. Oh, maybe we should dress as cowboys for the whole thing. Oh, yeah, great. And then it just snowballed into what it was. And we've never done anything like it ever again.
Yeah, no. that was a bit of a... Yeah, you did. Well, again, we'll come back to that.
You said you wanted the origin story. You want the whole story. It's a big story. There's a lot going on.
This is it. This is what the podcast is all about.
I thought you wanted the origin story. I thought that kind of finished with moving in with Andy Allen.
we're going to keep going until we get to where you are right now today on this podcast. What was I going to say? Oh yeah.
Yeehaw!
That was a bit of a dressing up year because Hallmark also did a themed set that year, if you remember.
We dressed up as like a whole town.
We did.
And we did Goodbye Dixie, Goodbye, and My Old Kentucky Home, which
we wouldn't do now.
We would not decide to do now, no, but we were none the wiser back then.
Yeah, it's true.
But we got to dress up lots, and that was fun.
It was fun. We do dressing up is fun.
Although I just dressed as a barbershopper for that set, so it didn't really feel like a period piece for me.
Yeah, you had the straw boater and everything, didn't you? From what I recall. Yeah. And then so the next year, your championship year takes place with the Emerald Guard, and I feel like our fans would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the Lion King medley. So you guys come out for your show set 2014, your championship year end show set, and the stage is pitch black.
Yeah.
For quite some time.
Yeah. You're bringing back some trauma here, Pete.
I know. And then the spotlight comes on you, and off you go.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I have no idea.
Because is it Alex Kaiserman arranged that?
Alex arranged it. I feel like we were talking about doing a Lion King medley from before we were even a quartet. I think Andy, maybe it was mine and Andy's idea. I don't know. We were just always just a joke about it because there's so many good songs.
Mm-hmm.
I should have said, by the way, when the Emerald Guard were forming, originally the tenor that we asked was Richard Fisher, the Fish, who later sang with the Locksmiths, but he couldn't commit to it at the time. So we went with the backup plan of Antoine, who we didn't know could sing tenor, but he was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a go. And I feel like we were talking about doing the Lion King medley even when we were talking to Fish about being in the Emerald Guard. Like it was that long of an idea. So we just did it. I remember getting the tracks for that, and Antoine there are teach tracks to that if you ever want to hear how it's meant to go.
I've heard them. I had them on my iPod. Somebody sent me Antoine's full mix and I had it on my iPod, and I would just listen to it for fun.
I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I used to listen to it for fun as well, but never to learn the songs.
Yeah. And it's so weird because I listened to it so much, and now you guys sing it in Afterglows, and I'm like, that's not how it goes.
Hey, give over. No. The fun thing about the Lion King medley, at least for us, is that every time we do it, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's good.
Yes.
So we did the Lion King medley. We also sang a song called You Are There, which is Antoine's feature. And then what was special about that swan song, I think it was our swan song, not the show set we did the night before. At the end of the contest, we got on stage everybody who we'd previously sang with, and we sang The Impossible Dream, and that was good fun. So all the members of like Monkey Magic and Doghouse and Mac 4 and Impromptu and all these like loads of people who I probably can't remember, but maybe like 20 guys, and we sang The Impossible Dream, and that was great fun. That was special. No video of that. I wish I did. I bet it's somewhere lying around in the archives.
It must
Hook me
be
up,
somewhere.
Pete. You've got the keys. Hook me up. I'd love to see it.
I don't have any keys anymore. But I know a guy. I know a guy.
You're not even on the board anymore, are you?
No.
Anyway,
we've heard for some reason.
We've heard this board story a million times.
Yeah. It's not about me.
So then it's the end of our championship year, but then like the next year we went to Pittsburgh with Hallmark and competed there, and that was amazing. Because Hallmark had won the gold the year after. And so the years muddle up, but the Guard got to go the same year that Hallmark went, and that was just amazing.
Yeah.
To all go together.
I actually want to wind back a little bit and focus a little bit on Hallmark.
What did I miss?
Because when you joined Hallmark, it was probably around the time that Andy Allen took over as MD.
Yeah, I think it was a year or two after.
Yeah. And then famously, or possibly famously, people might not remember a time before this, but in 2012, Hallmark launched their Horizon project, which is still in one form or another still going to this day. In
the form, it's still going in the original form.
Yeah. So what was it like working? Because I guess you worked a lot with Andy on that at the time. I guess you were like his sounding board for all his scheming and planning. Like what was going on behind the scenes at Hallmark around that time?
I'll tell you. I feel like I can take some credit for the success of Project Horizon and Hallmark in general, but I really feel like the idea for Project Horizon was like 90% Andy. I happened to be in the car when he thought of it, and as you say, I probably was just allowing him to bounce ideas off me, but he's so great with that sort of thing, with long-term planning, coming up with ideas. We were on the way back from convention in 2011, and I think we'd come 11th or 10th.
Yeah.
And we were happy with the result, and we thought we did a good job. We sang Liar Medley and What Kind of Fool Am I? On the way back from that convention, we were talking about everything, And we were aware that year it felt like some people had come to the contest because that's what the chorus did. We rehearsed for the contest every week, as everybody does, or everybody did. And it felt like, we'd spoken to a few people, and it felt like we'd said like, well, if you weren't that bothered, then why did you come? And they're like, well, it's just what we do. It's just what you do. And Andy just had the idea to make it not what we do. He said, let's just make it completely optional. And so the initial idea was to make going to contest specifically, completely optional. And so then we tried to figure out how we would do that so that it wouldn't impact regular chorus life. So the idea to only rehearse for contests on the weekend was formed, and we just came up on that journey home. We just came up with a structure for that, and got excited about the idea of that, and then what that could mean that we were doing on a weeknight instead of practicing for contest all the time. So we were trying to kill two birds with one stone, because all we were doing was practicing for contest, and the repertoire was very stagnant and all that sort of thing that I'm sure everybody has to deal with. So it wasn't until the next day when he phoned me and said, I've realized that if we do it like this, and if we do it just at the weekends, there might be some people interested who can't normally come on a weeknight. And that was the beginning of the crazy idea. Like, who might want to do this, who hasn't done it before? And then he phoned me the next day, and he said, this could be an opportunity to get people into barbershop who don't normally have the chance. We agreed that if you get someone to go to convention and be in the contest and experience that, it's a really good way of getting people to enjoy like the best thing about barbershop. At least we thought it was the best thing about barbershop at the time. So we were thinking about who we could get in who wouldn't normally come every week. And so we're talking about people that Andy works with. We're talking about people who didn't live in Sheffield. We're talking about Andy's old flatmate, Gav, who moved out and I moved in. We're talking about people's dads who don't really like barbershop, but they might want to do something with their son, and vice versa. All their dads sing barbershop, and maybe a dad has been trying to convince their son to come to Hallmark, but he doesn't want to do it because it's a big commitment, but he might come and do a few weekends. And we got really carried away in the first couple of years, and we invited everyone and everyone. And we got in a bit of trouble, and some people didn't like us, and fair play, because it was wild. It was a bit naughty. Lots of people thought it was really naughty.
Yeah.
But that was why it was called Project Horizon in the first place. On that third phone call, when he said we could get people to do Hallmark who wouldn't normally, and by that we could get them to enjoy barbershop in a way that they haven't done before. He saw it as a way of like giving the next generation that experience of barbershop. And so that maybe later on in life, they've had that little hook and they might come back to it later on. And we really believe that did happen, and that we gave lots of people an experience to come to convention who would not have otherwise have gone. And lots of those people now still do barbershop. We're talking about people like Simon Lubkowski, who I knew because he was my music teacher in school for a brief time. And we'd stayed in touch just because of music. I reached out to him the second year that we did Project Horizon. I said, we're doing this crazy thing in Sheffield. I've noticed that you're in a barbershop quartet. Would you guys be interested in coming and singing with us? And that was the Simple Tones.
Yeah.
And the Simple Tones came and sang with Hallmark. And then the Simple Tones like went on to be in the Quartet contest and did all that. And now Simon is like one of the biggest movers and shakers in British barbershop. And I do feel like that is because of Hallmark, and just that open door to get in there and experience it. And 3 of the Simple Tones are all still singing with Lux a cappella. And one of them, I think, is getting back into it. Simple Tones have started gigging again. So like all these people, I wish I could think of like all the like really nice things like that. But there's been so many years of
Yeah.
Horizon and so many people, and it's brought people back into barbershop who've left because, and all this blah, blah, blah. And and so there was all of that. There was all the success that Project Horizon created. And of course it led to Hallmark going back into the medals, and we've won a couple of gold medals since the project started. And it's kind of changed how we looked at large events. Like, it allowed us to go to Holland and to IABS and all this sort of thing, and not let that stuff overcrowd the Tuesdays. Where on the other hand, our Tuesday club was just thriving. It had gone from about 20, 25 members to 50, 60, and still is 50 now. And it's repertoire turnover, and it's personal development, and it's building music teams, and it's not getting bogged down with contest stuff. And there was, in the first few years of Horizon really took off. And then a few years later, after having the time, the Tuesday chorus just kind of blossomed into this amazing thing. And then the two were just parallel for all the years that I was there. And it was really special.
Yeah. It sounds like you're very proud of it as a thing.
I'm very proud of my involvement in that. And you'll make me emotional saying things like that, so I shouldn't say too much. But I think doing that changed barbershop for many of us in that circle. I think it allowed many people to enjoy barbershop in ways they hadn't done before. And as I said, it was all Andy Allen's idea.
We have a lot to thank Andy Allen for. Yeah. So Horizon is currently in its 14th year. I guess COVID happened, but there was still Horizoning happening during COVID.
There was. I was leading some of it.
Yeah.
Very, very badly, but we kept.
Hey,
but we kept going.
It wasn't nothing.
No.
Would you with all those years of experience running that sort of thing under your belt, would you recommend it to other groups, that style of thing, or is there a sort of type of group that you might recommend it to, or a type of group that you might not recommend it to? Like, what do you think it uniquely works for Hallmark, or do you think it's a generally applicable thing?
I think we have seen that more and more project choruses are around these days. That's not a result from us doing it back in the day. We certainly weren't the first people to do it. You can see that the project model works, having fewer but more intense rehearsals, normally at the weekends. There are lots of choruses that only do that. We were very fortunate in that, in the first instance, we knew lots of people who'd be interested. And so when we first did it, the Horizon chorus was very different to the weeknight chorus. And that came with its pros and its cons. And so to start the whole thing was quite easy for Hallmark, apart from having to tell everyone that we were going to do it.
Yes.
Apart from telling all the members that we weren't going to practice contest stuff every week anymore.
Yeah. How did they take that at the time?
Some people didn't like that, but it only took a year to prove that it worked. We went from 11th to 3rd in the first year. So the proof was in the pudding. So we were very fortunate that it worked. And I think what was really interesting about the first 3 years that we did it was that the makeup of the Horizon chorus was completely different every year. It was different people. Most of the weeknight guys were singing, but then the people that joined us at the weekend for the Horizon were completely different every year. But then post maybe 2014-15, that group started to remain the same, and we'd see the same people coming every year for the project. And then some of those people would start coming to our weeknight rehearsals, and the two groups kind of melded into one. It was just that we did the heavy lifting, big event stuff at the weekend and the regular repertoire stuff in the weeknight. So it's not for everybody. I think there is something to be said for specific convention rehearsals. I really love that. The best thing about it is that almost everybody's there. You get so many problems in the run up to conventions when there's people missing every week, and you're just backtracking every week. Whereas we tried to say you have to try and come to all of these rehearsals. In the first year, we had one guy who came to one Tuesday, and he couldn't sing.
Yeah.
But he was in.
Yeah.
He came to one Tuesday, and we had to tell him to not sing lots of bits of the song in a really encouraging way. You know how it is. So yeah, having everybody there at the weekend, that's great. Being able to tackle some harder music is really interesting. You know, if you've got a full day to work on something, you can keep the interest there rather than more simple songs. It worked for us well at the time, and it still works well now. I'm not in Hallmark at the moment or Horizon. There's a lot going on in my quartet life at the moment, as you know. But they are doing a Horizon this year, and they are thriving as they have been for the last 10 years. And yeah, if you're a chorus of 15, 16 people who maybe want to take competition a little bit more seriously or work towards a special event that not everybody can come to, then I think project style rehearsals could be good. Yeah. Like if you're doing a trip or something a bit bigger than your local show, and you don't want people to feel left out by not coming to that trip, you know, make the rehearsals for that trip completely separate. I would recommend that for sure. That's where it all started. That was a lot of waffle to not say very much. You chop all that down, Pete.
Yeah. So that's what editing's for.
Yeah.
Let's pivot back to quartet singing, shall we? Because we got to with the Guard and with your quartet singing, we got to 2015 international in Pittsburgh,
and we won. Can you believe that? We won the whole thing,
and you became international quartet champion.
It was the biggest BHS competition there's ever been, and there hasn't been one like it since. And we came away on top in 34th place.
Yeah,
I think it was 34th. Yeah,
well done.
Thank you. We were seeded 4th. We thought,
you thought you could do it.
They read out 5th, and we thought, well, we didn't sing in the finals, but maybe it could be us.
Yeah. What happens after Pittsburgh with the Guard and with your quartetting?
You're asking me to dive into the archives here. This whole period, you know, a few years leading up to COVID and COVID involved, it's all black.
It's all gone.
Well, around about the time we were going to Pittsburgh, I was also singing in a quartet called Hannah and the Hurricanes. And we did some singing in Pittsburgh, which was fun. We sang on a auditorium, and we sang at the chairman's reception and stuff like that. We didn't compete because this was before Everyone in Harmony. So I struggled to find the years with the Hurricanes because we did a lot of stuff and did a lot of contests and stuff. So it's hard to pinpoint the locations, but Hannah and the Hurricanes went to the World Mixed competition and came second, which was just amazing. We won the mixed contest in the UK a few times. So that was all going on. A few years later, Andy and I started singing in the Shimmering Bonsai Boys, which was an idea.
How did that come about?
It was an idea to have a local quartet who could do some stuff on Hallmark shows. Yeah. And we'd done a few things like that before. Andy and I had sung with Rob Foote and Andy Walker in the Wild Irish Bros, and we did as many as one sing out.
A great success.
And they never let us on the Hallmark shows ever again after that. So it was something like that, I think. But we had a good time singing together, and it was obvious that we'd have a good time in the contest as well. So we entered the Babs contest and came as high as 3rd, which was amazing. And that was just after COVID.
Yeah, I think the bonsai, because you ended up only actually competing in one full contest.
Yes, we did the prelims pre-COVID. We qualified for Babs. Babs was cancelled. Nobody went. Post-COVID, we'd do prelims again. It was the biggest prelims I think there's ever been, and we came out on top for sure. We definitely won that prelims. And I think we won.
That definitely sounds right.
I think we won the Babs after that. Yeah, in third place. And all the while, I'm also singing in a quartet called the Sharrow Blues, because this is some years after Hannah and the Hurricanes have disbanded. So I'm singing in the Sharrow Blues. I'm also singing in the Shimmering Bonsai Boys, and I'm also singing in the Emerald Guard. And that was feeling like a little bit too much. So unfortunately, I had to step away from the Shimmering Bonsai Boys, which made that group stop. Because I'd left.
What would they possibly do without you?
Yeah, there was a lot going on at that time. Straight after COVID, people were still trying to find their feet a little bit, and I was feeling personally that like I'd been missing the Guard quite a lot. The Guard had made a lot of room for other projects in my life. Things like Hannah and the Hurricanes, Sharrow Blues, Shimmering Bonsai Boys, the Sanover Beach Club 4. There's probably more. And I wasn't okay with how much time I'd not been giving to the Guard. And so it was time to be responsible and stop singing in so many quartets and choruses and try and focus my efforts somewhat and do the right thing, which for me was continuing with Hallmark, the Guard, and the Sharrow Blues.
Yeah, very good. So the Guard has a bit of a renaissance around this time, doesn't it? Like suddenly reappears out of nowhere on the contest stage,
and people say, "Oh my God, you guys are back together!" And we're like,
"Whoa,
we
never broke up.
We didn't break up. We've just been busy. It's been COVID." But honest, so many people are like, "So glad to see you guys singing back together again. So good to have you guys singing together again."
Funny.
Oh, really liked you guys back in the day when you guys used to sing together. Really like that. But we never stopped. We just weren't very active for a couple of years. I think we were. We were always doing. We were always doing something.
Was it just you kind of deciding that you wanted to focus very, very, very much more on that, or was there a trigger or anything that made the Guard sort of come back to life a little bit, or did it just sort of?
I don't think so. I think the Guard has just always been there, and the boys have very graciously just allowed time for other things. If you're in a quartet that's, let's say, going for gold, as I often have been, really trying to do well in contest, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of brain space. And the guys have always been good at saying, we'll just relax a little bit. We're always active and we never disband or anything, but we'll just make a bit of room with that. And likewise, the Sharrow Blues have made room for the Guard to be more active and really go for it. And that's happening right now. When we get to the end of the origin story, which is this year, we could talk more about that.
Yeah.
But I've been very lucky that my quartets have, they're all friends anyway. So they all give each other room to, be the best that they can. So it was really just, it wasn't me saying, come on now. It just is what it is.
Just some space for it appeared. And
there was some space. Yeah. And we've had some amazing opportunities over the last few years, and like towards the time just before COVID, like 2019, we went to Holland and we sang on the show in Holland, and we like Mike Warm there and stuff like that. And then just after COVID, we went to IABS and competed there and won the quartet contest there. And then it was like, right, should we start thinking about maybe going back to international after 11 years away? They're probably missing us by now. Seeing as we were like the front runners back in 2015.
Everyone's just been waiting.
I think when we go back to international in this year, it's probably going to feel a lot like Lemon Squeezy going back to international. Having come
Except
second.
You've got all the same members.
Yeah, that is what we do have on Lemon Squeezy.
Yeah.
So we've started thinking about going back to international, and we're like, right, let's get a good run up. So we did Europeans last year, which was just the most amazing trip. And we've been doing Babs for as long as they'll let us. They're sick of us, I'm sure. But we'll be doing the Babs Convention again this year. We've got loads of shows planned in the run up to that. So the stars have aligned for the Guard to return once more to international. So it's very exciting.
It's so exciting. Yeah. But kind of while that was all sort of bubbling away in the background, there was this amazing, and I'm sure like most of our listeners will know, this amazing kind of meteoric journey that you guys had with the Sharrow Blues
Where
over the last couple of years.
Where the Chattanooga Boo Boo Choice came,
took
third
a medal
place,
in Spain.
Third place at Bieber back in March last year. The biggest contest there's ever been.
Tim, I'm serious. The Sharrow Blues, man. We did it. You did it.
We did it.
It's just one of those really inspiring stories where a quartet gets together, sets out to do a thing, and then does the thing, and it's just the best thing ever. And like and the most surprised people in the entire universe about it were you guys.
Yeah, I think I remember Alistair Lammerman saying the only people who didn't think you were going to get through to the top 20 was you.
Yeah.
That was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, for sure. My barbershop careers, for sure. The amount of that trip and the build up to that trip was so all consuming and took up so much energy. Like just getting to Denver and being in Denver was like so surreal. We had so much support from all of our friends, the whole, like the wider communities, all of our choruses, Babs, Labs, Sweet Adelines. It felt like everybody was behind us. We had Hannah and Becca doing amazing social media work, like all the run-ups, and everybody was just always on there saying, can't wait, good luck, all this stuff. We just felt so much love, and we had so much love between the four of us. It was such a journey that we went on. That there was like a 2-year thing, as you can imagine. You've got to think about going, wanting to go. You have to plan when you're going to qualify. You've got to do that successful. Then you've got to raise all the money. Like it's such a big effort, and one that we hadn't done as a quartet before. And it was so special. We had a couple of goals for the year last year, and one of them was to just become better friends and to become closer, because we thought that was important to us getting there, and we thought that would be important for us doing well, was how can we become the best of friends and just love spending time with each other and love singing together. And we really did that. I can't really talk much more about it because I will get emotional, but we did it. When they read the name, I watched, there's a video of us reacting to that. I watched that again the other night, and that is like, I hope that's a core memory for a long time. Hope I don't forget that. So proud of that. So proud of the other three. So proud of the UK. So proud to represent the UK and to be in the top 20.
Huge.
And you tell people at work and they go, oh, that's all right.
Oh, that sounds fun. Yeah.
You go, no, you have no idea what an achievement that is. Yeah, we're buzzing. We couldn't have asked for a better week. I mean, we got there. I mean, I lost my suitcase, but who cares? I got it back in the end. We got there. We went to see Metallica live in concert, who are like one of my favorite bands ever. We got to see like Platinum on the AIC show. We got to see there was so many British groups there. I think there was 5 quartets and 3 choruses there, just cheering everybody on. It was such a fantastic week. And I feel so privileged to have just been a part of it, let alone to have achieved what we did. So
yeah.
Loved it.
It was so cool. We're all very, very proud of you. And
thanks.
Yeah, we absolutely love it when the Brits go and do good stuff, and it couldn't have happened to 4 more deserving people. So,
well, thank you.
All right,
I appreciate that.
So before we wrap up and bring things completely up to date, Tim, I want to ask you.
So the whole thing you just wanted to. It's not an origin story. The whole thing you just wanted to.
Just the entire the story
much.
Of Tim Briggs.
I don't just want to brag about all these fantastic groups I've been in, where
all the amazing singing you've done.
If anybody gets anything from this podcast, the point I'd like to make is that if you surround yourself with talented people, you can really be quite successful. It's been 20 years of a real blag, let me tell you.
You worried you're going to get found out soon?
But yeah, I'm giving up quartetting very soon before anybody realizes. Yeah, I'm very lucky to have very, very, very many great friends who are very talented. I felt very, very, very lucky the whole time along the way.
What we're going to switch gears.
Go on.
I've got 3 questions for you, Tim. These are the 3 tune-in questions, and every guest on the podcast I was going to say gets these questions.
Are these the ones you told me about, or are these 3 different ones?
You have prepared
You've not
answers
changed
to
them.
these. I hope so. Anyway,
maybe.
So question 1. This is the first tune-in question. What is one barbershop performance, could be yours or someone else's, that still gives you goosebumps when you think about it?
How quick does this answer have to be?
Tell me the story.
Okay. Through this whole thing that we've been talking about, which is my life in barbershop, from day one, I've been singing barbershop for 20 years. From day one, as long as I've been singing barbershop, Vocal Spectrum has existed. Mm-hmm. And some of the first videos we ever watched with the Twilight Tones, back with Alex and Antoine, back in high school, were Vocal Spectrum. And there was a video on YouTube of them singing On the Street Where You Live in the 2006 contest when they won. They sang it in the finals. And I have been obsessed with that song ever since. It has to be my favorite arrangement. Their version of it is unmatched. It's the best thing ever in barbershop, in my opinion. And like, we even transcribed it when we were 16 and tried, we didn't transcribe it. We bought the music. And tried to sing it, and we couldn't because we had no idea that barbershop was actually hard. Yep. We tried to sing it, and ever since then I've been obsessed with that song. I spend nights watching bits of that, every version of it on YouTube, everything. I've been obsessed with it ever since. I'm in St. Louis. No, I'm not in St. Louis. That's next year. I'm in Louisville for International a couple of years ago, and Vocal Spectrum are being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and they're on stage. We're watching. I shouldn't even be at this International. I'm very lucky that I was even there. A lot of people helped me get there. I'm watching Vocal Spectrum being inducted into the Hall of Fame, my heroes. And they're emotional on stage, and I'm emotional watching it. And then they go, right, well, we better sing something. And if you know the song, you'll know. They said, we're not going to sing the whole song, blah, 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 because they're all crying, whatever. And Eric comes to the front and he goes, people stop and stare. And they started singing just like the last third of that song. And water has never poured out of my face more than in that moment. I was uncontrollably blubbing my eyes out, and it was such a special moment for me. And just thinking about that gets me. And we were sat like a mile away in this Louisville arena, and Vocal Spectrum are like this big, and me and Hannah are just like, but to watch them sing that as they're inducted into the Hall of Fame after 20 years of singing together, and I've just been listening to that song for 20 years, and to see them do it was such a special occasion. So that's it. It wasn't a short answer. Sorry. Tune in. Quick fire.
I love that.
Quick fire. Tune in.
I love that answer, and I imagine that like that room was filled with people who had very similar reactions, having loved Vocal Spectrum for such a long time.
It was amazing.
Imagine. Question 2: what is something you wish you had understood earlier in your barbershop journey?
That contests are a lot more fun when you don't wear shoes. No, more seriously.
Question 3.
No, more seriously. I think one thing I do wish I'd known is that there isn't one way to be good at barbershop. I thought about this. This is a hard question. There isn't one way to be good at or to enjoy barbershop. You know, I wasted a lot of time. Maybe it was wasted, I don't know, copying other people or thinking I had to do certain things to be good and doing stuff that I wasn't very naturally good at. And I think what I've learned only really in the last few years is that the more you can embrace your own voice and make your voice as good as it can be, the better you'll be at barbershop. It's not about trying to do this or trying to do that. It's just be the best I don't want to say the best version of yourself, because it's not just that. Though we all try and do that, I'm sure. But making your voice sound as good as it can without trying to do other things. And then at the same time, realizing that the way I enjoy barbershop is not the same way that everybody else enjoys barbershop. And there is no single way that people enjoy barbershop. Some people like contests. Some people like repertoire choruses. Some people like singing tags. Some people don't. And you shouldn't tell people how to enjoy barbershop. And I've been guilty of that in the past. Everybody's different.
Do you know, I have a theory about this.
Please share.
Specifically about like how it takes barbershop as a very long time to get over this idea that there is a correct way to do it. I just think it's because barbershop attracts engineering, maths, sciencey brains.
Oh yeah, like me, yeah.
Yeah. But like it's people who are used to just having the right answer, you know, or at least used to knowing that a correct answer exists. And actually the opposite of there being a correct answer is creativity.
Yeah.
And that's so I just wonder whether, because barbershop is so nerdy and attracts nerdy people who are often sciencey, engineering-y, mathsy, their brains just want there to be a right answer.
I can see
that's what they know.
A lot of truth in that. Yeah. I also do wish I'd realized how important tuning was, and I might have put a bit more effort into becoming a bit more musical and getting better at tuning. Because you can sound like anything, but if you're in tune, it's good.
Yeah.
And if you're not, it's not.
Yeah, there's a score for that.
Yeah, and the biggest, I think one of the biggest setbacks in my career has been the lack of musical knowledge, and I just wish I had more. Wish I'd started sooner. I started at 16. I wish I'd started sooner. I wish I played a different instrument that wasn't the drums. Obviously, I don't wish that. I love playing the drums, but I wish there was something else that made me maybe better at reading music or better at singing in tune. I wish I had perfect pitch. I just wish I was better at singing. Anything, please, anything to be better at tuning.
The skills and experience you have brought you quite a long way so far.
That's true. And the main skill is singing with Anton, who's really good at tuning.
Yeah. Yeah.
and he can tell me. He can tell. Anyway,
speaking of singing in quartets with people, if you could, here's the third question: if you could sing in a quartet with any three people, living or dead, who would they be?
I would say Vocal Spectrum, but I've sung with them numerous times, which is what's amazing about barbershop, is you get to meet and sing with your heroes. So I'm going to say the Harrington Brothers.
Ooh.
But only if I can sing like David Harrington, because I think his voice is one of my favorites ever. So lush, so artistic. He can do so many things that I can't do. But also more than that, the Harrington Brothers is where the Sharrow Blues got Jeepers Creepers medley from. Me and Sam found a video of them singing it from back in the 80s or 90s. And this was when Sam and I used to commute on the train to Hallmark from Leeds. Another time, and we used to just we'd be like the only people on the train home on a Tuesday night at like 11 o'clock. And we used to geek out about barbershop and just talk about barbershop all night, me and Sam Hubbard. And we used to watch that video all the time. And I don't think it's on YouTube anymore, sadly. But Harrington Brothers, Jeepers Creepers medley, that's where we got it from. Stole it.
Well, so you want to sing Jeepers Creepers with the Harrington Brothers, but only if you can be David Harrington.
Well, I want to sing Jeepers Creepers with the Harrington Brothers, but I'd sing bass because I know it. But I'd sing anything else with them on lead because David Harrington is one of the best leads ever.
Very good. All right. We are getting ready to wrap things up. I would love to hear what's next in the world of Tim Briggs. What have you got planned in your barbershop world?
What's coming up next? Right after this, I'm going to remember all the things I didn't say about my barbershop history, because I really didn't think you'd ask me.
We'll have to have you back on to fill in all the gaps.
Really didn't think you'd ask me the job lot. I just thought you were looking for that origin. So if I missed out any groups that I've sung with that, I am very sorry. The next big one is the Guard, going back to international. In the run up to that, we've got loads of shows. We're singing in Ireland, we're singing in Leicester, we're singing in London, we're singing at Babs, we're singing in King Sutton. We're doing all this stuff. We'll soon release like a tour poster. So that if you want to come to any of those shows, we're releasing merchandise. If anybody wants to help fundraisers go to the United States of America, we are finally, after 13 years, releasing merchandise. You may have seen
get a t-shirt.
You may have seen that we upgraded our logo recently. Maybe we'll also release some t-shirts with the old logo on.
Yeah.
So that's the next big thing, the Guard going to international. And that is about to become all-consuming for another year running.
Very best of luck with it. Tim, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Well, the pleasure's all mine. I'm very lucky to have been asked, so thank you.
Yeah, it's very good. I can't think of a better inaugural guest for our series of interviews. And it's been lots of fun reliving a lot of my own memories because I was there for a lot of what we talked about, but not all of it.
Yeah. Side note, Pete was around for pretty much all of this.
Yeah, I was just watching.
And I hope I haven't put anybody off coming on TuneIn by waffling and rambling about not much really. Said a lot of stuff, didn't say anything.
Who is your dream TuneIn guest?
Can you get David Harrington?
Can I get? We'll make it happen. Somebody will be able to make it happen. I don't know.
That's a tough question. You should have asked me that beforehand. I could have had more time to think about it. Just get Andy on to tell you everything I said was false.
All right. Yeah. Don't listen to a word Tim says. Here's what really happened.
Yeah. Anyone.
Amazing.
The more people talk about barbershop, share their stories, it's positive.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much, Tim. Really appreciate your time and your generosity in sharing your story and everything.
Thanks, Peter. Bye, Babs. And bye, everyone. Is it just Babs? It's the Babs TuneIn, right?
Yes, it's everyone. Everyone in the world.
It's the biggest barbershop podcast ever.
And
so
you've won. Congratulations.
Did smell like I'd won. Yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
If people don't know that in-joke about it smelled, that sounds bad. Anyway, bye.
I'm just going to leave it there. Bye.
Yeah. Oh, dear.